In 2018, Cardi B released her debut album Invasion of Privacy. I think it's safe to say Invasion of Privacy was a lightning in a bottle moment, a career-defining and making era. Its influence remains palatable, as we saw a reinvigoration of women in rap after the success of Cardi B. What made Invasion of Privacy so compelling for a lot of people is that Cardi B's story was heavily documented in real time, due to her stints on reality TV and social media. She was often dismissed when it came to pushing her music, but Cardi kept on, and through her perseverance, she became hip-hop's very own Cinderella story. And her Cinderella story is a very modern one. She wasn't introduced by a male overlord or a hip-hop collective like a lot of her rap foremothers. She wasn't very polished, she was real, relatable, and a round-the-way girl that you could know. Literally Cardi from the block. With the success of Invasion of Privacy, she went from being a stripper, social media commentator, and a loud TV personality to a Grammy Award-winning Billboard-topping artist. You can't get more legit than that. Cardi B is not a lyrical wordsmith or showy rapper. Her strength lies in her personality, her stories, and her charisma. During her debut album, the hits seemed to come as easy to her as water to the ocean. Bodak Yellow and Get Up 10 being her underdog anthems. I Like It paying tribute to her Latin roots in a very modern fashion, and she touched upon her messy love life with songs like Be Careful and Through Your Phone. I think one of the factors that made Invasion of Privacy so resonant, besides being on trend and catchy, is that these songs and their subject matter seem to play out in real time, and it showed a real sense of relatability. Cardi showed no signs of slowing down. She had big features, big standalone singles, Finesse with Bruno Mars, Please Me with Bruno Mars, and songs like Money, but eventually there came a point where it seemed like the music took a backseat and her personal life and the headlines that followed took the front seat. With our highly publicized, off and on again relationship with her former spouse Offset, lawsuits, and outbursts on fans, even if her follow-up took 7 years, it seems most appropriate that its title is Am I the Drama? Cardi expressed a lot of anxiety about following up her mega debut, and it seemed like for a while she would take the Lauryn Hill route. Even though Lauryn Hill has music with the Fugees as well, people waited on a follow-up with the Miseducation that never came, and many thought Cardi would follow the same path. Despite not having a follow-up album at the time, she remained active by releasing standalone singles and doing features. She began the 2020s with an absolute bang, the controversial WAP alongside Megan Thee Stallion, and the song Up followed closely behind it. Both songs hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It seemed like she was in the midst of an album rollout, but she wasn't, and the album wouldn't be announced until 2025. Something shifted after Up though. Cardi kept releasing songs that have a similar vibe to Up, similar cadences, flow remnants, and production to that song. There seemed to be a strong sense of stagnancy after that period. She had the song Hot-ish with Kanye West and Lil Durk, She Had Enough, and Bongos with Megan Thee Stallion, which was clearly trying to double up on the success of WAP, but comes out inferior. Her features during this period, Put It On The Floor with Lotto and Tomorrow 2 with Glorilla, were much better. Her official lead single Outside also had remnants of Up, and a catchy hook, but the song sounds dated and like it's trying to take a piece of some of Glorilla's style, but it's very limp. With the second single, Imaginary Players, she took a completely different angle, flipping Jay-Z's original song of the same name. And while I can appreciate Cardi's intention in doing a straight 90s hip-hop inspired track, her flow is awkward, the lyrics aren't really anything to write home about, and it honestly just highlights how superior Jay-Z's original version is. Her version just ended up leading me to replay his. So I don't think the pre-release singles for this album have been the best, or have shown a lot of progression for Cardi. Her lead up and droplets to the album more so highlighted stagnancy in my opinion, unless you want to squeeze in and count WAP as a true blue single for this album. I think WAP is a solid offering and shows a lot of personality from both Megan and Cardi. And at the very least, I can say Up is catchy, but past that point, I don't think the songs have been stone cold bops, the best of what Cardi provides. I feel like Cardi's debut album also had a lot of heart and spirit, and I just didn't hear a lot of that leading up to this album. Some of the singles, including the ones that aren't included on the album, just sounded phoned in. Singles are one thing, but ultimately a good set of songs and a good album will prevail in spite of flimsy singles, and I think that's ultimately what matters the most. It took a long time for her to follow up, her singles have been divisive, but does the album show any form of growth? Is it good? Is she playing to her strengths? She announced an all-star cast that will be supporting her on this album, including Summer Walker, Selena Gomez, Kehlani, Lizzo, Tyla, Cash Cobain, Janet Jackson, and of course Megan Thee Stallion. This is an interesting and diverse lineup, so I was very interested to see how she makes them fit into the world of Cardi B. The album is 23 tracks long, and there are definitely much stronger songs than the 2 singles that were released directly before the album. The album begins with Dead, and it brings the drama. It has some news broadcasting audio, and then Cardi begins to just go off. It's rumored to be a diss towards a number of different female rappers, who she's had some tension with. Guess who dropped 1,000 times and none of it's working? Guess who's doing shows for damn near free and pockets hurting? Guess who makes sure that she play nice when we in person? And guess who done bodied up more bitches than they surgeon? I'm collecting body bags like they purses. I don't even rap no more, I drive hearses. She makes reference to her career and all that she's achieved towards the end. The Summer Walker hook is fine. What really stands out about it more than anything is how much she sounds like SZA. She's doing her best SZA impression, especially towards the end of the song. I had to do a double take. It's a feisty song and an accurate tone setting opener, even if it doesn't have the most replay value. The following song, Hello, also sounds like it could have served as an opener. It's just a 2000s inspired song where Cardi is popping her ish. Magnet sounds like it's trying to channel some club energy, and it has some standout lines like, "Whose spot is you taking? My spot's forever. I'm like a Dalmatian." Pick It Up is probably the most outright pop song on the album. It leans heavy into the tropical pop sound, and it features Selena Gomez. Cardi and Selena both sing on the song. And lyrically, it's just talking about missing someone and wanting to pick up where you left off. It's a pretty listless and playlist filler type of song. The only moment the song picks up energy is when Cardi starts rapping. I think it's definitely one of those songs and collaborations that are more enticing due to the names involved, but in reality, it's pretty forgettable. Bodega Baddie is a highlight. It's unexpected and chaotic in the best way. It's a Latin-tinged song with elements of Jersey Club and Latin pop. Cardi B refers to herself as the Trap Selena. Thematically, it just feels like a very Cardi B and sexified version of Jenny from the Block. She's basically saying she's just this fly girl from the hood. Cardi B taps into her emotional side as well. On Safe with Kehlani, she reflects on wanting the person she's with to make her feel secure, and how it's something that's really important for her. On Man of Your Word, she talks about the disillusion of her relationship. 7 years admit it wasn't all bad. There's skeletons in my closet too, it wasn't all bags. As a wife, I should have realized when you were hurt, but instead I put my music first. And that's when I heard about all those hoes, and I came back. But since I had a ring, I never wanted no ring cam. Meaning she basically played into the idea of ignorance is bliss, even though she knew a form of betrayal was going on. There's a lot of raw vulnerability on this track, and Cardi doesn't really approach this track in a vengeful manner. She even hopes her ex finds love. What's Going On with Lizzo that interpolates for non-blondes' What's Up is one of the most dated sounding and ill-conceived collaborations on the record. Lizzo acts as a hook singer on this song, and the way the chorus is performed and the production of the track sounds very Disney-fied and like it could be a part of a kid's soundtrack. And it has some dissonance with Cardi's more aggressive verses, where she's coming with the terms of her relationship falling apart, and it's like, hey, what is going on here? But the execution does not make this track land well. Summer Walker appears again on this album on Shower Tears, and I think it's one of the more standout emotional tracks on the album. It feels fully fleshed out, the hook is catchier, and Cardi is going through the motions on the track. I thought you wanted it forever, you and me together, make it through the storm right or wrong, any weather. I just want you back here where your home is. How you leave a like me so hopeless. Pretty and Petty sounds like it's GNX era Kendrick inspired in more ways than one. Her flows are reminiscent of his, and so is the sonic direction of this track. It's very 80s hip hop inspired. And she goes off on rapper Bia with this song, who had a public beef with Cardi. Name 5 Bia songs, gun pointing to your head. Bow, now I'm dead. That melatonin flow putting us to bed. I'm doing you a favor, Epic, run me my bread. For those of you that don't know, Bia is signed to Epic Records. Why you always at Diddy house? I heard they combed that little kitty out. She goes all in on this song, from Bia allegedly talking about her child to trying to get in between her relationship. It's a straightforward diss track. We can't talk about this album without talking about the legendary Miss Janet Jackson, who is literally featured on this album but in more ways than one. But it's not new Janet, it's just samples. On My Back samples Funny How Time Flies, but I really think the star of both of the Janet samples is Principle. The Pleasure Principle is one of the best Janet Jackson songs, which Cardi samples for this track. And in this song, Cardi drives home the standard she wants in a partner. Gotta be the only bitch, what the hell's a main bitch? Basically saying, having a main implies you have a side. She wants to be the only one. I am confused on why this song is called Principal, as in school principal. It doesn't seem to be a double meaning there, it just seems like a massive oversight. The album definitely has a fair amount of filler, and in that aspect, it concedes to a lot of current streaming standards. It doesn't feel like an album statement like Invasion of Privacy. It feels just like a collection of songs, which is not a bad method to take to, but it doesn't justify its runtime. A part of me wonders if this album is a compilation of all the songs she's worked on over the last 7 years, because some of them do sound dated. It's an album overloaded with material and shooting for every direction. There's also a heavy influence of southern rap on this album, the era of Jeezy, T.I., and artists who have recently resurrected and toyed with that sound like Glorilla. Am I the Drama definitely brings some drama, but not nearly enough highs to topple, dethrone, or comfortably sit alongside her debut album in its best moments. It's the type of album that's made to optimize streaming platforms, find its way into several types of playlists. The best parts of the album are good, not great. The worst parts are boring, but not offensively bad. There's some good material on this album, but the project as a whole is weighed down by the amount of songs. But that about concludes my thought on Cardi B's sophomore album. Tell me what you thought about this album down below. Was it worth the wait? Did you enjoy it? Do you like it better than her debut album? Let me know in the comments down below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.